Hey there, how's it going? Welcome back to Metal and Potatoes. Um, I apologize for the delay in videos. I had this great idea, at least it was great at the time. After the last video, I wanted to do kind of a retrospective of all of the Kiss autobiographies, all four, to make a kind of a Lord of the Rings of band dysfunction, which was a great idea in theory. I was going to read all each book and then do kind of a report on that book, each four, and then see how each four kind of interlocked and what each member said about the other, uh, that kind of thing. However, I do have a day job, and I just kind of wanted to read some different stuff because that's a lot of reading. So I would read Gene's, and then I did some stuff on Gene's, and then Paul's, and then no, not sorry, Paul's, but Peter's and Ace's, and I made some notes, and then I just really kind of got distracted. Especially, I started getting into Martin Popoff's books. I imagine if you are watching this video, you know who Martin Popoff is. If you don't, Martin Popoff is a Canadian author who does really great stuff. Listen to his podcast. He has two, History in Five Songs and Kicked in the Teeth. They're both great podcasts. But I really started reading a lot of his stuff. Gosh, I read, this one and yeah, this one and this one and this one, and I'm currently reading this one. So yeah, I got a little bit distracted, and that idea, while it may bear fruit in the future, I don't know if it will, and if it does, how long it's going to take me to actually get that done. So in the meantime, I saw a Reddit post on the Iron Maiden subreddit, which you can see kind of the lists here on the Microsoft Word document. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to go into. I didn't get the name of the user who posted this, and my apologies. Like I said, I'm still kind of new at doing this, so in the future I will give credit where credit's due. Um, but I thought I would do this live and just kind of go over each of these entries, and just off the top of my head, see what I think should be the entry into each one. Again, this is kind of off the top of my head. There's not a lot of preparation going into this, so I mean, 20 minutes from now, my mind may change. But right now, here's where I sit on these. So let's dive right into it. What is the most underrated Iron Maiden song? I think that it is. I think it's Empire of the Clouds. Um, I think that song, while it kind of gains a little bit of attention because of its novelty, its length, I believe it's 18 plus minutes long. It's the first and only Iron Maiden song to have a piano. It's kind of a softer song, at least for some parts of it. But I think it's an amazing song. It really is, and it holds its own with longer, Iron Maiden quote unquote epics like Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Alexander the Great, those types of songs. Um, Ostensibly, it's about like an air dirigible, I think is what they're called, an accident, it's like a big blimp that crashed in the 1930s. It's primarily a Bruce Dickinson song. But what really makes it great is just the conviction with which he sings it. Um, also the fact that when he recorded this song, this is the last song on the album that it appeared on Book of Souls. At the time of the recording, Bruce had a throat tumor, so there was a real possibility where he may or may not have known where he was ever going to be able to sing again, and so that added a little bit of extra heft. There's a moment in the closing minutes of the song where he states the word that the dreamer may die, but the dream lives on. And obviously, Bruce Dickinson is on the Mount Rushmore of heavy metal singers. He's one of the best. He could literally read a he could pick up a Twinkie and sing the list of ingredients, and it would tear your heart out. But the way that he sings that line, this far into his career, I think is really, it's one of the best deliveries that he's ever given, ever. So I think that's really why that song belongs in this spot. Oh boy, most overrated song. Gosh, is it Run to the Hills? I think it is. Let me think about this. Yeah, it is. At least in my opinion, I think, and maybe it's just because I've heard it 8 bazillion times. Um, but I think the chorus is strong, but honestly, I don't think the rest of the song. I mean, it's a great song, but there are so many better songs. It's just so kind of straightforward, and while it shows a lot of what Maiden can do. It's got the gallop, it's got, the vocal harmonies, it's got the soaring vocals, it's got the harmonies. But I just don't think. I mean, people say that it's one of the songs at the top of their catalog. I just don't think it is. When I find myself listening to Number of the Beast, I find myself skipping this song, and I just think it's overrated. So sorry. Uh, Best lyrics, boy. This one's going to take some time. It's certainly not Quest for Fire. Um, I mean, again, Empire of the Clouds comes up there. Um, Gosh, this one's going to take a little time to think. Best lyrics. I mean, Strange World, maybe. Strange World's got some really good lyrics. Um, hmm. I guess having to go now without giving this just a whole lot of thought. I think, actually, no. Let's go with Rhyme the Ancient Mariner, because it does such a great job of summarizing the poem. Um, Without, I mean, there are obviously points where it actually recites the poem line by line, but it's just such kind of a great Cliff's Notes version of the poem, and it captures the atmosphere, which again I know is beyond lyrics. That goes into music. But yeah, I think lyrically, I think Rhyme the Ancient Mariner is really their best work. Most hype. I will admit I am an old. I'm not sure what hype means. What do the youngs mean by hype? If I get more than 3 viewers on this, maybe someone can let me know in the comments what that means. Since I don't know, I'm just gonna wipe that off. Most emotional song. Mm, Iron Maiden's not really one for the heartstrings. Although I know I said that Bruce Dickinson could read the ingredients off the back of the Twinkies and tug at your heartstrings, but I think what I meant more was that he could make an emotional connection. Um, Boy, although I would say Still Life is pretty good in that regard, off of Peace of Mind. Um, and Wasting Love is all right. I mean, but it's still, that one's not, doesn't quite get there. I already did Empire of the Clouds, and I think really, but I'm going to do it again. That one section of Empire of the Clouds, the dreamer may die, but the dreams live on. Like, that's, I mean, come on, that's just, you can't beat that. So I'm going to do Empire of the Clouds again. Genius song. Um, well, that's Transylvania, obviously. I mean, that song is just fucking amazing. Transylvania, it's an instrumental, but just listening to the music, it conjures up, you know, creaky old castles and Romanian mountains and Christopher Lee in a cape as Dracula. It's fucking brilliant. So yeah, Transylvania is the most genius song. Best chorus, it's got to be the Trooper, right? I mean, there's no the chorus. There's no words. It's whoa, so it's not even like a lyric. It's just a whoa, but it gets the crowd pumped and it's got melody and it's yeah, it's perfect. So best chorus song is going to be the Trooper. Worst song, Quest for Fire. Some people would say "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter." I don't agree. But that song is corny as hell, but I think it's meant to be. Whereas "Quest for Fire," it's just fucking bad. It's just not a great song. So that's why it's going here. Uh, Best song. Holy shit. In a catalog that big. Uh, Gosh, can it be a tie? It's going to be a tie. This is my channel. I make the rules. So it's going to be a tie between these two. Yeah. Phantom of the Opera, I think, is, as if you've seen my previous Iron Maiden video, I think that is where modern heavy metal started. Black Sabbath invented the genre, Judas Priest improved upon it, and then Iron Maiden perfected it with Phantom of the Opera. That's the one that's got it ticks all the dots. It's got the solos, it's got the horror based lyrics, it's got the time signature changes, it's got the harmonies, it's got everything. The slow parts, the fast parts. It's the perfect heavy metal song. And Hallowed Be Thy Name, which actually maybe now that I'm talking about it, let's change Most Emotional from Empire of the Clouds to Hallowed Be Thy Name, because I think that fits. Yeah. These are the two songs where if someone says, "What's Iron Maiden like?" You're like, "Fan of the Opera, Hallowed Be Thy Name." Those are the two you need to listen to. Um, Hallowed Be Thy Name's got everything. It's got the throwback to the East London kind of grimy pub, the pub atmosphere, the pub angle of Iron Maiden, but it also is starting to bring in the more modern progressive elements with Bruce Dickinson. It's got that lyric, "Though the end is near, I'm not sorry. Catch my soul and learn to fly away," which is it's just like it's so just like ugh. Um, it's just an amazingly powerful song. The musicianship in it is brilliant. The lyrics are amazing. It's a high point. Those two I think are the best. Next, best solo. Um, Gosh, there's so many albums with so many solos. I mean, I really like Dennis Stratton's solo in Strange World. I think that's amazingly underrated. I don't know if I would call that the best. Um, there's some great stuff in Gangland, to be honest. There's some great soloing in Gangland, some great harmonic solos. Um, there's some great solos in Aces High. Jesus, this one's tough. There's some great solos in the track Iron Maiden. There's some great solos in the Trooper. I think that solo that Adrian Smith does is amazing. I think that's what it's going to have to be. Worst solo? No, we're not. We're not even going to go there. Best previous member. So God, there'd been about a dozen before the first album came out. Then let's see, we had Paul Diano, who was out by Number of the Beast. Clive Burr got the boot for Peace of Mind. Adrian Smith left, Bruce Dickinson left, but they both came back. So we're looking really at three. Dennis Stratton, Dennis Stratton, Paul Diano, and Clive Burr. Of course, Blaze. How can I forget the great Blaze Bailey, who did those two albums in the '90s? Oh boy, I think really it's got to be. It's Clive Burr, and here's why. Um, Look, Paul Diano was great. Don't get me wrong; those first two albums are amazing, and I think his voice really suited that material perfectly. Especially the first one where they had a little bit of a punk rock edge, although they would deny that, but they did. He nailed it on Killers, but on Killers you could really kind of hear that he's pushing his limits. Um, he's really at the edge of his ability on that album. And I know that there are a lot of people who say, well, they had a lot of success with Paul and they really could have continued with Paul. I don't agree. Yes, it's true. They did have a lot of success with Paul, and I believe that they would have been a big band with Paul, but not nearly as big as they became with Bruce. I don't think Paul Diano could have sung something like "Hallowed Be Thy Name." I don't think Paul Diano could have pulled off something like "Aces High." I certainly don't think Paul Diano would pull off something like "Empire of the Clouds," just because he didn't take care of himself over those preceding years. So yeah, so Paul's not the greatest. Dennis Stratton, again, he did some fucking fantastic work on that first album. The solo he did on Strange World is great. I don't think oh pardon me, um, that he was cut out for the long run either. I just think that his kind of musical sensibilities clashed with where the band was going to go. Frankly, I also don't think. I mean, he did some good stuff in Praying Mantis later, but that was a lot more AOR oriented. So I just don't think. Honestly, I don't think he had the chops to hang in there for the more progressive way that the band went. Adrian Smith was a much better fit. However, Clive Burr, no disrespect to Nico, who is a fantastic drummer, but I think Clive Burr can do anything that Nico did. I really do. And obviously, he had his unfortunate health issues that would come in later down the line. But where I really can't see Paul Stratton playing, Dennis Stratton playing on an album like oh gosh, Brave New World, or even Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And I can't see Paul Diano singing on an album like Power Slave. I can see Clive Burr playing on Peace of Mind. I can see Clive Burr playing on Power Slave. I can see him playing on Somewhere in Time. So yes, Clive Burr was absolutely the best previous member. Most underrated album. This is also a tough one because it depends on who you talk to. I mean, like nerds like me, we like all of the albums. And I think that there's a really solid Iron Maiden fan base who likes all of the albums as well. So picking an underrated one, and I know it's kind of the popular thing to do to pick um the one of the Bailey albums, but frankly, either the X Factor or Virtual 11. But frankly, while there's some great material on those albums, overall, I don't think they're that great. Um, I mean, the first one, I would maybe pick the first one. Let's write that down and give it a think. Because I know, like, people in the know love that album. I know that the band really doesn't. I know Steve Harris doesn't like it. He likes the material, but he thought the production was bad. I think the production is fine. It's lo-fi. It's street, which is the way it's supposed to sound. Um, Maybe, and the only other one I could probably think of is Brave New World, but that one seems to have a pretty good following as well. Um, but I think maybe some of the more casual fans don't really give Iron Maiden one the love it deserves. Um, Maybe because it's not Bruce Dickinson, maybe because of that kind of that kind of lo-fi production. So right now I'm having it there. I can imagine that once I stop recording this video and upload it, I'm going to think of another album that maybe is better suited for that. But right now I'm going to say Iron One is their most underrated album. Whew, most overrated. This is a tough one as well. So the quote unquote classics are Killers, Number of the Beast, uh, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Somewhere in Time. Um, and I don't think any of those. I mean, maybe Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, but gosh, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of people who say Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is my favorite Iron Maiden album. I don't know a whole lot of people who say Somewhere in Time is my favorite Iron Maiden album. And Peace of Mind is a drop. I mean, Power Slave is a drop dead classic. There's just no, that album is not overrated. Peace of Mind, despite having Quest for Fire, which is the worst Iron Maiden song ever recorded, um, still not an overrated album. I would say, yeah, there's some great. The deep tracks on there are fucking great. Still Life, Revelations. There's, oh my god, it's just classic after classic after classic. Number of the Beast, people say is overrated. I don't think it is. I love Invaders. People say that's kind of filler. I think Children of the Damned is fucking great. I think Gangland is great, and I think it's better than Total Eclipse, which is maybe an unpopular opinion. I think The Prisoner is great. Again, I think Run to the Hills. Run to the Hills is great, but it's just overplayed. Um, well, shit. What is the most overrated Iron Maiden album? It's not Brave New World. And again, I think if anything, the albums after that don't get the love that they deserve. I think maybe it's between Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Um, I think it's gonna have to be Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and that's just because you're forcing me to make this pick. There's some great stuff on there. But I mean, there's also The Evil That Men Do, which is where Iron Maiden started to fall into that trap of just singing the chorus over and over and over and over and over. So I'm gonna put Seven Son. Worst album. Sorry, Blaze, it's not your fault. And this is certainly not Blaze Bailey's fault. It's just there's the Klansman on there, and as Bruce Dickinson makes clear to American audiences, that is Klansman with a C, not Klansman with a K. Um, that song's great. There's some other good stuff on there, but as a whole, it's just, I mean, the X Factor was fucking depressing too, but this one is just, it's even, yeah, it's even, I think Angel and the Gambler's on this one too, right? um so yeah, I think Virtual 11 is probably their worst, at least in my opinion. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the some of the post reunion albums, but like Brave New World I would put up there with the classic material. Dance of Death, while it's not perfect, I mean, has some really, really great moments. Matter of Life and Death. I know a lot of people don't like that. I think it's one of my favorite albums. I think it's fucking great. Final Frontier got some weak moments, but all in all, overall, it's fine. Book of Souls, I think, was solid. Senjutsu. Um, yeah, I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be Virtual 11. And then the best album. Oh yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah, and by best, I should say it's my favorite. Obviously, this is subjective. I would also accept Number the Beast or Peace of Mind or Power Slave or Brave New World in that slot. But for me, Iron Maiden 1 is just so like from the opening notes until the end, it's just so perfect. It's really it's got a progressive element, and you can see like it's not like an album like Judas Priest's Rock'n'Rolla. Like Rock'n'Rolla, you can see like they're bringing in kind of like their past, their early years, but there are elements of where they're going to go, and that's what makes the album exciting. With Iron Maiden 1, they're already there. They just haven't perfected the formula yet. So, like I said, a song like Phantom of the Opera is every bit as complex as like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. It's just on a smaller scale with shittier production. Um, but I think that combined, so it's got that progressive element that is already there, but they're just going to build upon. But it also retains the element of them just perfecting their craft by playing in these pubs, for years and years and years. Well, not years and years and years. Well, yeah, like they started in what 75, and this came out in what 79 or was it 80? I don't recall off the top of my head. So it was years. Um, and it's got the grit of Paul Di'Anno. So there's that punk element. It's got that just a fucking great album cover by Derek Riggs. It's got it kind of covers the whole gamut. You've got something like Prowler, which is very street and just gritty, but also super metal. And then Strange World and Transylvania, which are really really pretty progressive and kind of, well, not Transylvania, but Strange World is a bit lighter. And Transylvania just kind of shows just the incredible musicianship that these guys have. So it's really, really a showcase for the band, and I think it's their best album. So yeah, so that's it. Thanks for sitting and listening to me ramble about Iron Maiden, which is frankly one of my favorite things to do. And thanks for checking out Metal and Potatoes for you that are actually checking this out. I'll continue to do these just because I find them therapeutic. If people watch, that's great. If not, that's also cool. And yeah, you have yourself a good night. Thanks.